Alright fellas, it's been a while since my last video, but I've gotten a few new toys, and just to kind of give you an idea, so the Hornady lock and load auto charge, and well, got a lot of light as I installed a LED light above my workbench, but I don't have the glare when I'm trying to look at it. It's actually very visible. Just green backlight with black numbers. Real good contrast. I don't have any issues seeing it or anything. The hopper on this thing will hold quite a bit of powder. That was a unopened new 1 gallon or 1 pound container. I put a little bit in my quick trickler because I like to do this machine for everything up to 1 grain less, and then take the scale pan and put it in there and trickle in my last 1 grain of powder. I'm a little stickler when it comes to an exact charge weight. The scale pan that comes with it is that guy right there, quite a bit heavier and a little bit larger than that one there. This one here actually comes with the Hornady scales, the balance beam scales. So once I get everything set up here and going, we're gonna load up some 6.5 Creedmoor. I actually picked up a few of the new A-tips from Hornady, 135 grain. And I do not have the seating stem that they recommend. I am using the seating stem, it's the Hornady bullet seating die. I'm using the ELD seating stem, so we're going to see how well that's going to work. It may not work at all, it may crush the tip, but we're going to find out. I'm going to use, there we go, Lapua 6.5 Creedmoor. These are the small rifle primed cases, and they are primed with CCI small rifle magnum primers. I'm going to run a 40.5 grain charge for my max, and my minimum's probably going to be about 39. I currently run 41.5 grains with a 143 grain bullet, and that's primarily my target load, but since these are lighter and I really don't want any kind of barrel burner round going down the match grade barrel I've got, I'm going to slow them down a little bit. I don't feel like I need to be pushing 3,000 feet per second. I'm just going to see how accurate these guys are. So here's the nice bag they come with. I'm going to see how well all this is going to work out. Okay, so I'm sitting down now. I'm ready to start loading. This is a little bit better of an angle. As you can see, that is 135.0. I weighed a few of these. This row here on the left hand side, I have already removed or thrown them in the bag and removed any kind of mold, oil, or grease that they have from swaging the bullets from the factory. They're actually pretty clean and pretty dry. I mean, when you put on a latex glove, typically you'll have a little more of a feel for the residue, at least with my experience. And compared to like a Nosler RDF, they don't have near the goo on them that the Noslers do. So I don't feel like you really have to remove that stuff. I mean, maybe you do. I have never done that with the Noslers that I've shot, but these 5 that I did, I checked the weight on them and they all came in at right at 135.0. So very consistent on the weight. So let's see if I can pick this up off of here. And because I've got my balance beam set up at 40.5, I'm going to set this thing up to trickle slow, and I want it to throw a 39.5 grain charge. I'm probably doing this backwards, but that will be my maximum charge weight, and then I'll back off from there. So 39.5, you don't have to use a decimal point. It places it in there for you. And we'll go ahead and hit the dispense button. This thing throws an accurate charge about 75% of the time with Varget and H4350. So at that time, I don't know if you noticed, but it said 39.6, but that's exactly why I bring it over here and use the quick trickle. Now, I usually, before I got the auto charge, I would use this for my powder measure. I don't have a powder measure on my bench. The time it takes to set them up, and I just found this to be easier for me. If I'm going to trickle in anything, I might as well go ahead and do it like this. And it's just a personal preference of mine. And there you go. See if I can refocus that. There you go. Sorry about that. Okay, so I've gone ahead and put the powder in the case and place the bullet on top. We're going to seat this very easily. Okay, that's just a little start. I'm trying to notice if there's any kind of crushing or denting or even a ring that would come up around the tip of that bullet. So I don't see anything. Go a little further. I mean, we still look pretty good, but we're not down against any kind of powder yet, so the resistance, if you're running a compressed load, would clearly be a little bit more when you got close to your maximum seating depth. So there's the end. And I haven't ran these through an overall length gauge or anything to know if the ogive on these is similar to the ELDs. I mean, the ELD bullet looks to be a little more, well, there's a little bit of something right there, but there's no prominent dent in the bullet from a seating stem causing issues or anything. I mean, really and truly, that is one sexy looking round. I mean, holy cow. And I bought these on sale. I got them for just under 60 bucks for a box. So I'm going to go ahead and load up that row right there of 5 on the left. And then we'll get a better picture of what it all looks like. And one thing where I goofed, going from the quick trickle to this auto charge, this thing is just really sped up my match grade rounds for single stage loading. Without any kind of distractions or anything, I can knock out about 50 rounds in 40 minutes or so. It is just super fast. I just have to remember to put my scale pan back on the auto charge and not the actual scale. And by the time I've seated my bullet, this thing has already thrown the charge for my next round. Very slick. I was so stoked when I finally got this thing home. I've been wanting one for several years now. Read a lot of reviews between the green and the red, and I'm pretty sure Lyman makes one too. Some of my reloading equipment is about the savings and what it's going to cost to go with this color rather than the other. Some of it is just what I prefer. So I've already dumped the powder in the case and set my bullet on top of it. So we're going to head right over here and head doing this. And this is just something I like to do, give it a third of a turn for every, seat just a little bit deeper. It's supposed to help with bullet run out, concentricity, that sort of thing. This is really seating well. I just don't see anywhere where I'm gonna need a different seating stem. I mean, it's not doing anything to that tip. So maybe the ELD tip is okay. Maybe it's gonna work. When I bought that set of dies, it came with 2 seating stems, one for the AMAX and one for the newer ELD, and I've had them for a couple of years now, and they seem to... Now, I did have issues with the AMAX, which is the same seating stem you would use for like your boat tail hollow points. I just happened to pick up a little piece of foam up in the top right corner of the die case, and there's set more decapping pins and another seating stem. So I was like, oh, how about that? So I'm gonna edit this for time, but I'll go ahead and knock out those last 3. Alright, well, I'll go ahead and wrap this up. So the first 3 rounds that I loaded, it threw a perfect charge. Well, one said 39.6 and then backed up to 39.5, but it's even stated in the manual 10th grain accuracy, which most of anything anymore, those scales, it'll say plus or minus 10th of a grain. I feel like, well, if you've ever overcharged anything by 1/10 of a grain, then put it on a balance beam. It is very, very minute, but I still look for that perfect charge weight, and which is why I use the balance beam in accompaniment to the auto charge. The second and the third rounds were spot on. The fourth and fifth round, let's see, it threw a 40 grain charge, and then the fifth round was a 39.9, and still not a big deal because I'm balance beam and trickle that last little bit to equal a 40.5. But if you're looking to go straight to this and not use a balance beam, I could see how that may get just a little irritating. And in a box of 50, I'll get several in a row that I don't have any issues with. And H4350 is a stick powder like Varget. If you were looking at trickling a flake powder like Superformance or even a ball type powder, then you would probably have a lot less issue. It is set to trickle on the slowest speed, which that doesn't account for the ramp. It starts off slow and then goes really, really fast to get close, and then that last little bit will go in real, real slow. And it's set on its slowest speed. There's a lot of people that make little straws or fittings that go over that to just slow it down. I could probably do that, but because I'm using the balance beam, I'm not worried about it. As for the hopper, I can't remember the exact powder weight that it will hold. The base is rather large, so yes, that was 1 pound, but another pound would probably get you somewhere close to here. Still, a 2-pound capacity is quite a bit of powder. I mean, when you compare it to this, that's a 3,000 grain capacity, maybe 3,500, I can't remember which. And then I'll go ahead and remove this. This is just the regular powder measurer that Hornady has. It is the same as the benchtop, and of course this is the Progressive, and it's the same powder measurer for the Progressive, same rotor and design as well. So all in all, that is definitely a time saver. If you can pick them up for less than $200, which Graf's usually has some kind of sale going on, and you can get them for around $180, it becomes a really good deal, I think anyway. As for these guys, it looks like the ELD seating stem and the Hornady bullet seating die will work out for these. I'm going to go ahead and load up the rest of these and basically run a ladder test on them tomorrow and see how they perform. Kind of hoping they don't shoot that great because they're extremely expensive. But the packaging on them is superb. That was one tray, 50 of them. The other tray is back there still, 50 of them. There are 2 rubber bands keeping them together. And then the whole thing is stacked with this cardboard piece in between and a rubber band holding all of the brick together itself. Slides into the box. I'll show you what that looks like. So you have to cut the label across the top and then cut the little half moon tape right here. The bullets are on the bottom and the bag is folded up inside a plastic Ziploc bag in the top. I mean, I bought them just because I'd like to try them, but that is a pretty kick-ass bag too. So, and I'm a Hornady fan. I mean, if you hadn't noticed, bullet feeder, progressive. That's red there, red there, red there. Oh, that's a Lee. Yep, and then the case prep center. Not partial to any other brand. I mean, some of the prices for Hornady is good and the quality's there. Customer service is there for several reloading companies, but I do like the red, so, and it matches goes great with the slate countertop that I've got. Anyway, hopefully everything works out for these rounds. If not, it was an expensive experiment, but that's all in the fun and game of reloading. So, without further ado, appreciate you watching, and until next time.